there's been a pretty significant move that I think many people have missed, and that is the tidal wave that is coming of sports returning in this country. And I talked about this some in the first hour of the program, but I just want you to follow me along here. Next week, Major League Baseball comes back. I feel like that is sneaking up on many people. The first Major League Baseball game is scheduled for Thursday. I believe it's the 30th. Am I right about that? On July 30th, we have the return of the NBA, which is just almost a little over 2 weeks away, right? Like, so not next week, but the week after, the NBA will be back. And the same thing will be true, I'm looking at my calendar right now, of the NHL. And so if you look at the calendar in front of you right now, and by in front of you right now, I mean the one that I'm holding in my hand, looking at on my iPhone. So we have got baseball coming back next week. The week after, we will have the NBA and hockey. And I'm saying and hockey, even though hockey is technically starting on, I believe, August 1st, right? So that is where we are headed on a Saturday. So, again, next week, Major League Baseball. The week after, the NBA and the NHL. We already have MLS going. We already have the PGA, NASCAR, boxing, UFC. All of that is underway. So by August the 1st, we will also probably have the earliest returns of rookies moving into the NFL training camp. By August the 1st, every sport in America will be underway in some way, except for potentially the for college football. And I think this is important. And then Dub G just hit me with the PGA Championship will be going on August 6th to the 9th, so we'll have a golf major coming back soon as well. All of the negativity right now that exists in the sports universe is all being brought to bear on college football. And I don't know that most people are recognizing this, but every sport is coming back, and I don't hear anybody pulling out their hair and saying, oh my God, how in the world is that sport coming back? It's just college football. And so I want to bring in the crew, and I'm going to open up the phone lines quickly here, 877-996-6369. And we're talking to Greg Sankey tomorrow. He's the commissioner of the SEC. He's going to join us. He's scheduled to join us at 8:20 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. So around this time tomorrow, we'll talk with Greg Sankey, who is the commissioner of the SEC. But do you guys get that feeling at all? And how much of this is just being driven by the media that covers college football being so much more negative than the media that covers every other sport? Because again, let me repeat for everybody out there, next week Major League Baseball is coming back. Then you have the week after that, the NHL and also the NBA coming back. And then you'll have MLS that's already underway, PGA, NASCAR, UFC, boxing. Literally every sport in America but college football will be back. And by the way, in Tennessee where I live, somebody looked this up, there's supposed to be like 30,000 fans watching a NASCAR race in Bristol this weekend. And it's like, people are like, oh, there's no way we could play college football, some of the college football Corona Bro media. And I'm sitting back, I'm saying, wait a minute, there are 30,000 people showing up for a NASCAR race this weekend in Tennessee, and you're telling me they can't play college football with no fans present even? Am I right about that? With the 30,000 this weekend, right?
Yeah, $1 million up for grabs in that all-star race.
So I've been to Bristol. Well, props to Bristol for having a race. But 30,000 fans, that's more than attend an NBA game. Granted, it's outside. That's probably about the average number of people that attend a Major League Baseball game. That's more than would attend a Vanderbilt University football game on average in the state of Tennessee. Vanderbilt University, and I'm a double alum, so I can say this, social distancing in the fan base since before social distancing was cool. But I feel like I'm taking crazy pills here that no other sport is being talked about being stopped. And then college football is like, well, we don't know if we're going to be able to play or not. I mean, this seems insane to me.
Well, you're really going to lose your mind because on the 25th, the WNBA season begins. Yeah. So I can't imagine you will lose your blank if a WNBA game is happening on TV and college football is delayed.
It's a great point. I know that there's a huge number of you out there that listen to me that are massive WNBA fans. You're like, I gotta make sure I download the podcast to see what Clay Travis said yesterday. We need WNBA trivia, by the way, now that I think about it. We had MLS trivia last week, which, by the way, I got 5 out of 6 on. And I think I blew your mind by going 5 out of 6 on the MLS, which frankly makes me the greatest expert on the MLS, certainly that has a national radio show in the country. I'm not sure that I can even name a WNBA franchise. I think I take that back.
You have to. One was in the news last week.
Well, that doesn't mean anything. It's not like I'm reading WNBA news.
No, I think on the regular tickers.
Aren't they subtle variations oftentimes of the WNBA team? I mean, of the NBA team? I think we have the Rockets in Houston because of the NASA connection, and I think the WNBA team is the Cosmos. Is that right?
Comets.
I legit thought it was the Cosmos.
New York Cosmos was that
was Pele's team.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't know anything about the WNBA. But just think about this. Literally, the WNBA business is a shambles. There are like 4 WNBA fans in the entire country, all right? They are playing. And college football, which is the second most popular sport in America, is not going to play. I mean, this is, the data is all so straightforward. So every other sport is playing, and college football is the one that people are like, oh, they can't play. I legitimately want all of your opinions. And again, 877-996-6369. May take a couple of calls here as well. Why is college football the only sport? And people can say, well, it's because they're college kids. Okay. Like, you don't have to play. Why is college football the only sport that the Corona Bros seem to be focusing on and saying, wait, it's too dangerous, you guys can't play? Why is that?
I think it's because they're a sitting duck. You've said this before. Once a league comes out and says, don't care what problem. Yeah, yep. Don't care what the mob thinks or says, is our start date. Period. Deal with it.
Yeah, that's what, and this is the problem. They don't have a commissioner. We're playing, deal with it. It shuts up the mob because the mob, by and large, are a bunch of wusses. But if you don't shut up the mob, then they all try to come take their pound of flesh. It's like a shark coming and finding Old Man in the Sea. Remember Old Man in the Sea? Spoiler alert, there's an old man, he's in the sea, and he gets a really big fish. Santiago and the fisherman, Hemingway's memorable tale. It's a big, massive fish. And it's like a fish that's going to change this old man's life. He's got the biggest fish ever. And then, spoiler alert, all you kids out there listening who are supposed to have read this on summer reading, I'm giving it to you. The sharks come and they eat the fish. And so by the time the old man gets back to the dock, all that's left basically is the carcass of the fish. And so everybody comes and they take their little pound of flesh. The sharks can smell the blood. They come. That's what the media is. And so if you don't stand up to them and fight them away at inception and say, hey, we're doing this, I'm not changing my mind, deal with it, then they come after you. Dub, is that a good analogy that because college football is the only sport without a commissioner, national commissioner, who can just come out and say, hey, we're going to do this, that leads all of the Corona Bro media to focus their attention on college football and attacking its return? Dub may be fielding calls. Eddie, you're a college football fan. Do you buy into this thesis?
Yeah, I would say so. And certainly, you mentioned the lack of leadership there in college football, and all the commissioners are basically, calling their own shots. It certainly didn't help as far as the media coverage that the Ivy League, of course, came out and canceled all sports for the fall, and that was kind of the blood in the water to get things started.
But yeah, 100%. But it's wild to me that we're talking about the WNBA and MLS, which are both sports which have a pinprick of the overall interest level of college football, and they're coming back. And we know that the NBA, Major League Baseball, and all of these other sports are going to be playing hockey by either next week or the week after. I think a big part of waiting until late in July to return is having all those other sports underway. And this is where I think Greg Sankey and John Swofford at the ACC, and the commissioner of the Big 12, is it still Bill Bowlesby? I got a lot of questions in this segment. Somebody look up who the commissioner of the Big 12 is. I've forgotten. I think it's Bill Bowlesby. All of these guys are waiting to make their decisions, and I think the return of all of those sports is going to give college football a lot of cover, because they're going to be able to look around and say, wait a minute, we just had 30,000 fans show up at NASCAR at Bristol. Major League Baseball is playing. The NHL is playing. The NBA is playing. MLS is playing. All of these sports are underway, and you're telling me it's not safe for me to play, not to mention the NFL should be, by that time, back into training camp, starting the training camp process for the NFL. So all of those sports are going to be going.
You're right. You're right about the Big 12 commissioner.
All right, Bill Bowlesby. So,
and by the way,
I think it's Bob Bowlesby.
Bob, yes, it is Bob. Yeah. And really quick, Bristol's running tomorrow night at 7 p.m. live on FS1.
Tomorrow night?
Yeah.
So 30,000 people are going to be in Bristol tomorrow? I don't think that's right.
Well, I know we got a note here saying that it's running on FS1 tomorrow. I'm not sure about when the crowd is going to be there. I'm going to look that up right now.
Yeah. So you gave us information that was only designed to give an advertisement to FS1.
Yeah, they're part of our family.
Yeah. Hopefully my show will be back on FS1 here soon, by the way, too.
With baseball. Yeah, with MLB coming back, you guys should be back.
Hopefully. Going to get some more details on that soon. But I think we'll be back in the next couple of weeks, which is my hope. And so all of this is moving in favor of there being college football. And we played that clip, which I think is important. Maybe we need to play that again to close out the show, of the doctor in Tampa talking about the state of Florida. There's a big disconnect going on right now between cases and deaths. And it used to be that death rate was very much connected to the overall case infection rate. That's not really the case anymore. And I didn't give you this information earlier in the show, but I do think it's significant when you actually look at the numbers right now. Yesterday in the state, in the entire country, let me find this for you. Yesterday in the entire country, 327 people died with the coronavirus. I say with because there's a difference between dying with the coronavirus and dying of the coronavirus. Almost all of the people dying with the coronavirus have other comorbidities. In other words, if you have stage 4 lung cancer and you also have the coronavirus and you die, they are counting you as a coronavirus death, all right? 327 people died yesterday of the coronavirus. That means 7,200 people died in the United States of something other than the coronavirus. Because on average, every day in the United States, 7,500 people die. About 2.8 million a year. And almost no one has actually pointed that fact out or is covering death from any other cause other than the coronavirus. The Florida death rate for infected patients is now falling below 1%. And so to put that in perspective for you, if 15,300 people test positive for the coronavirus, as happened a couple of days ago in Florida, that means that of all those testing positive, less than 150 of those patients will actually die of the coronavirus. So we're talking about now a 99% plus survival rate. In fact, it's closer to 99.9% survival rate, according to the doctor. We'll play that doctor from Florida who was on CNN yesterday, who was actually giving some information. Dub, what did you text me? I didn't see.
I already forgot, but just by the way, the Houston Comets are no longer a WNBA franchise.
Yeah,
so,
they don't exist anymore.
You don't know any.
Do they not have a WNBA team in Houston at
no
all?
longer,
exist
and they
anymore.
took away my San Antonio Stars. They're now the Vegas Aces, which is I'm
Well,
still
you're
a
giving
little
me,
upset about.
yeah, but now I'll remember
Yeah.
that for the. You can't give
Damn
me a tip.
you.
Oh, my apologies. Well,
Yeah,
there's like
no
6 other
educating
teams that you
Clay.
don't know, so I
LA
think there's only 8
Sparks, baby.
teams.
I don't know. So I was wrong about Houston both having the name of the women's franchise, which was the only fact I thought I knew correctly about the WNBA, and I was wrong about whether the WNBA actually has a franchise in Houston.
LA
That's
Sparks,
correct.
baby.
Does Lisa Leslie still play?
No.
Has she been retired for a long time?
Yes, LA Sparks, by the way, have more championships than the Clippers. Yeah.
Yeah, the Sparks. Is the Sparks SPARKS like a sparkler?
Yes, that's correct.
I don't understand that nickname. Is there a reason why they would be the Sparks?
I don't know. Danny G knows more than me. He's a big fan of the Sparks.
Have you ever been to a Sparks game, Danny G?
Never.
Would you rather have $5 or have the Sparks win another championship?
Championships are always good
$5.
for your city. No
Well,
matter.
all right, let's go around the horn.
$5.
Would you rather have, LA crew, would you rather have $5 in your pocket right now or the Sparks win a championship? Eddie, I'll start with you.
Give me Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, give you an Abraham Lincoln. What about you, Danny G?
Okay, $5.
What about you, Roberto?
Read me another title, baby.
Okay, you want the title. Two out of three want the
He
five.
just
I think
wants
I
to
would-
have more trash
More
talk with
banners.
Clippers fans.
Yeah, that's just an angry Laker fan who has to talk trash at the Clippers based on the Sparks now because the Lakers haven't won anything in a long time. All right, when we come back, we'll see whether will Petros even answer that question or will he be afraid?
And by the way, Clay,
Are we a Sparks affiliate, by the way? I'm probably going to get an email like,
No,
hey, jerk, the Sparks games are all on your LA affiliate. Why are you talking about it? I'm giving
not
them a
even,
lot of credit.
Not even sure if they have a radio
My
crew.
point is here, the WNBA is coming back, and some people don't think college football should come back. And I feel like I am taking crazy pills. The WNBA doesn't even have a fan base. There are literally like 4 or 5 people who legitimately care about the WNBA. I'm not even sure there is a single person listening to me right now who is a WNBA fan. And and my entire audience, we have the biggest sports audience in America in the morning. And look, like whatever you like. My point is college football is the second most popular sport in America. And there are people arguing it shouldn't come back. Meanwhile, is the WNBA already playing?
No, on the 25th they start their season.
All right. So the WNBA is beating the NBA back.
Oh man.
Are they also in Florida?
Yeah, they're also in a bubble right now.
Or where's their bubble? Are they in Orlando?
I'm guessing. I'll have to take a look
I
at
believe they're on a college campus, but I don't know what campus it is.
that. And also, fans are attending July 15th tomorrow at the All-Star Race at Bristol.
30,000 people?
It says 20 to 30,000 people.
Okay. That's pretty crazy, don't you think? I mean, is anybody even noticing that that's happening? People are like, oh, you can't play college football. I'm like, dimwit. In my state, where there are 2 college football teams in the SEC, at the University of Tennessee and at Vanderbilt, there are 30,000 people showing up for a NASCAR race in July. Somebody explain to me why we can have a NASCAR race in July with 30,000 fans present, but we couldn't play a college football game with 0 fans present in September. It doesn't make any sense at all.